migrating across the ocean. That colossal collision created the ultimate natural barrier. In fact, the word Himalaya itself is Sanskrit. It combines Hima for snow and Alaya for abode, the abode of snow. But here's a completely wild, surprising fact. That collision, it isn't over. India is still pushing into Asia today at a rate of about 5 centimeters a year. Because of this, the Himalayas are actually still growing. They push upward by about 5 millimeters every single year. Now, sure, that's slower than the rate your hair grows, but over a millennium, that adds up to 5 meters of brand new height. Zooming in a bit closer, this mountain system is actually built out of 3 distinct ranges. The Himadri in the north are the highest and most rugged, forever covered in snow. Below that is the Himachal, which has a much more moderate climate and rich biodiversity, and that's where the famous hill stations sit. Finally, the Shivalik Hills act as a rolling, forested transition zone before you hit the plains. What's so incredible is how humans have adapted to these different zones. For instance, in the western Himalayas, locals build these Kath Kuni houses using a specific combination of stone and wood. It doesn't just keep the biting cold out. Actually, what's really brilliant is that the structure flexes to resist damage during mild earthquakes. Moving on to Section 2, Moonland, India's cold desert. As we fly further into the mountains, we kind of need to challenge a preconceived notion here. When you hear the word desert, you probably instantly picture scorching heat and endless sand, right? But geologically speaking, a desert is simply a barren area of landscape where very little precipitation occurs. So the crucial point is that a desert can be blisteringly hot or, in the case of our next stop, freezing cold. Welcome to Ladakh, India's cold desert. This place is so harsh and rugged, with rocky terrain shaped by wind and sparse rain, that it's often called moonland. Winter temperatures here routinely plunge below -30 degrees Celsius. Fascinatingly, because this land was folded upward from an ancient ocean floor during that tectonic collision we talked about earlier, the rocks high up here in the freezing mountains are largely made of sea sand and clay. It's wild to think about. And despite the brutal cold, incredible wildlife